Hey, thanks for joining us on this really cool day. It's really nice to be here to be able to talk to you and invite you in to learn a bit more about biohazard cleaning. We're up currently in Bristol, so myself and Jamie and Mark are here running a training course at the moment. So we've got 24 people here going through our face-to-face training. So we've taken a bit of time out for this Facebook Live and LinkedIn Live, and I think we're also on Instagram as well. So if you've joined us, thank you so much. Please, if you could, just put your name in the box so we can know who you are. And please also, if you have any questions, please fire those over. And when we finish just explaining a little bit about what we do, we'll be more than happy to go through those questions for you. And Jamie will just read them to me so that we can try and answer those for you as best as possible. So yeah, it's a real pleasure to be with you. So what I'd love to do, if possible, is just kind of have a chat with you and explain to you a little bit about how you can start up a cleaning business, a biohazard cleaning business here in the UK. A little bit about what I've done, a little bit about how the business worked, and kind of where we got to where we are. It's quite interesting, actually. I started this business when I was about 15 years old, just window cleaning, and managed to grow it into this kind of business that it is now, which is a multi-million-pound contract cleaning business and biohazard business. So I actually started it in West Wales, which is probably the worst location ever to run a business from. It's in the middle of nowhere, but we are lucky that we managed to find a niche market, and that's what I can kind of try and share with you. So what is biohazard cleaning? Well, basically, biohazard cleaning is a real niche market. You've probably either got a cleaning business or you've seen cleaners, and you're working for an hourly rate that's okay. It's not brilliant, but it's not also gonna make any huge impact on you. It's just going to be a regular job. Biohazard cleaning is slightly different because we're putting ourselves in a situation to clean up body fluid. We're cleaning up potentially infectious material, and that demands a premium. So some of the contracts we have are really, really good money, and they're really, really lucrative. Others are very, very busy, and it's still good money, but there's lots of it. So specifically, we work for police forces, for councils, for public sector companies. There's a massive increase in what we're doing as well. So really lots and lots of work for us to be able to do. As this world that we're living in slowly changes and morphs into being a worse place in some places, our work increases. That's a kind of a sad thing. The more there's an increase in drugs, the more society is impacted by violence, then actually our whole role in our business increases, which is quite strange. But it's also a really good place for us in business to be. So we've got to kind of temper that with being empathetic, thinking about our customers, but also we've got a job to do, and we want to make more than a living doing that job. So what the definitions really of a biohazard? Well, we could probably say that would be body fluid, whether that's contaminated body fluid or not. So it'd be things that we're going to come across: blood, urine, feces, and all the other horrible body fluids that we can think about cleaning up. You might also think about specialized chemicals that we're going to have to use. So we're going to have to be involved in cleaning that up. We also got needles that we clean as well. So doing hypodermic needle sweeps, cleaning up areas where drug addicts have left needles just lying on the ground and in buildings. And also starting to morph a little bit into road traffic accidents, so cleaning up after RTAs and RTCs, and also even collecting fallen stock, animals that have been hit by vehicles or that have died hit by trains, things like that. So really lots of different types of biohazard that we're cleaning up. It's a bit different between regular cleaning and the cleaning that we do. So regular cleaning, obviously, when we're talking about an environment, we're talking about just cleaning up dust and debris and polishing things, making them look nice and shiny. But crime scene cleaning is not like that. Biohazard cleaning is making things safe, making sure the surface after we finished is safe for someone else to use that surface and remove the contamination from it. So it's slightly different. Also, the method is slightly different. Instead of our working our way from the furthest part of the room to the door in normal cleaning, actually our method is slowly different, because we start from the front door and we work our way in. We want to make sure we're working our way into that situation. And there's also a lot of compliance that we have to do. So when you think about the waste that's generated, a lot of people don't think about it, but we come under commercial waste, and that is also a hazardous waste. We're dealing with potentially infectious material. So if we've cut a carpet out where somebody's passed away on, or we have a sofa or a mattress, then those items have to be dealt with professionally, but also legally. There's real important legal requirements to be a hazardous waste carrier and to fill in paperwork, consignment notes, duty of care notes, and insurances, and all of that, the compliance that goes along with that. So what we're trying to do as an academy, really, the Ultima Cleaning Academy is here to try and help make things simple for you, to try and handhold. So the academy has been running for the last 12, 13, maybe 15 years now. We've probably trained about 3,000 different companies, some in the UK, most in the UK actually, some in Belgium, some in France, some in India. We even had a Nigerian prince come on our training course, which was really interesting. But we basically want to help you. So the whole academy is set up to show you what to do. We've learned from the mistakes that we've made, to handhold, to help you to be able to learn how to run your business, to show you how we marketed it, who we approached, learn how we get what insurances are in place, learn all the different requirements that we have to be a professional crime scene cleaner and to be compliant with legislation that's out there. It's really important also, I think, to have continuous training. We are always learning. Products are changing, chemicals are changing, tools are changing, and our methods sometimes change. Even the weather patterns with increased global warming, that's going to have an impact on what we do. We're starting to see a change even in insects that are starting to live in the UK. So we're always trying to change and to work around those new legislations. So continued personal development is really, really important for anyone in this industry. And so we offer refresher training, we offer practical hands-on training as well. Along with that, after that training comes certificates, which is also something that we're really proud to be able to give our teams. We work hand in hand with a pest control company called Killgerm. So part of our training, you'll receive a Killgerm certificate for your training, which will allow you to buy professional pest control products. And you need those. Can you imagine in a decomposition, you get larvae, you get maggots, you get flies. You need to know how to deal with those professionally and need some training around that. But there's a certificate for that. And we also give you a certificate from our academy to say that you've been through our training course. That's both online as an e-learning course, and also you get that certificate from coming on our 3-day face-to-face course, which we would love to see you come and meet us. We'll work with you and help you. I think what's really nice also is all of our network, everyone that we've trained, knows that they can call us, ask us for help, ask us for advice, whether that's on pricing, whether they need help with a job, whether they're just a little bit unsure. The network is really powerful for that. Also, one thing that I think is lovely is that sometimes the network work together. So someone maybe doesn't feel too confident about their first job, so they will get someone to come and help them and work along with them as well, which is really lovely. And the network seems to grow really well together. There's also licenses that we need to kind of talk about when we're on the course. So it's actually illegal for us to carry waste, as we said, without proper licenses and the proper paperwork to back that up. So we'll teach you about that, teach you what waste carriers license you need, whether that's a lower tier, upper tier, whether you need to be a remote license carrier, what hazardous waste you can and can't carry, how you're supposed to segregate that waste in your vehicle. I mean, some questions you might ask yourselves: are you allowed to drive around with a needle box in the back of your van? We'll help answer those questions for you. Where do you take it when it's full? What do you have to, how do you have to store it? All those kind of questions. What waste stream does it have to go into? So those licenses are really, really important, and we can help you go through that. Also, insurances. We can explain to you what insurance you need to be compliant. We can advise you on who we've used in the past, how things have worked, how they haven't. And that's a real beneficial part of it. You're getting first-hand experience from people who've been in this industry for 20 years. And we're trying to help you and share that knowledge with you. Health and safety is also a real key. So health and safety, sometimes people have a negative view of, but it's so important in our industry. If you're trying to sell your business to a local authority, well, they need to know that you're going to be safe. They need to know that they're trusting you. You're now responsible for this building that's got potentially infectious material in it. So they want to really know that you can do that properly and carefully. So you need to show them through risk assessments and method statements, and know your information on your chemicals and how to handle chemicals correctly. And that's another element to our training that we offer you, either e-learning again or face-to-face. In fact, this afternoon, right now in Bristol, Wayne Boller, one of our trainers for health and safety, is going through all of that information with the new candidates that are here today. And another thing is also, we mentioned just briefly, but insurance is really important. We've had some stories of people who have come on the training course, struggle to get insurance. They can't explain to the insurance company the dangers of what they're doing. So the underwriters don't know how to insure it properly. Well, we've done all that for you. We've found companies that will insure you correctly, make sure you're fully compliant and fully insured. And we share that with you. And we want you to be able to make best use of that. All that hard work in finding the right companies has already been done. And then we look at equipment and supplies. We go through with you such a list of equipment that we're using on a day-to-day basis, from thermal foggers, ULV foggers, ozone machines. We go through with all the equipment that we need for needle picks. But not only do we tell you about the equipment, we also want you to be able to afford it. So we try and make it really affordable. And I think it's one of probably the only training courses I know where we're not trying to sell you something. We're trying to advise you, this is best practice. You don't need this, but this would be good to have. This would be great for you to have, and I would advise you to get this piece of equipment. If you can get this second hand, get this one here. This would be the best one. Those kind of things. We want you to really do well, and financially to benefit from our knowledge. We would hate you to go away and spend thousands and thousands on equipment that you really didn't need. So we want to handhold you and help you with that. We even show you companies who will rent you and hire you products and equipment, which are specific to the disaster industry as well. We've got some really good relationships with those companies. Also, the investing in quality equipment, as you mentioned, that's an important point of what do you need when you're spending money on larger items. Do you need to buy a van? Can you hire one? Do you need to buy a tipper lorry for waste, or can you get away with a trailer? What's the kind of things that you need? Do you need a flashing beacon on your van or not? Do you need motorway maintenance signs on the back of your van or not? Those are the kind of things that we help you with, to go through with you, to explain to you what you need. Also, storage. How do you store that equipment? Where do you store it? Is it okay to run this business from your home? Maybe from a shed in the garden or from a garage? Or do you need a specific office and a warehouse? We'll kind of go through that with you to explain to you, actually, this is what we advise, this is what you need. And sometimes it's really simple, the answer is simple, but also it determines what line of work that you're going to do. For some companies we work for, we have to have a warehouse. We have to be able to bring a vehicle that's been badly damaged or somebody's passed away inside and clean it without anybody else seeing it. Other times, if we're not doing that line of work, we can run this business from a very, very simple setup, sometimes even from home, which is a really good thing to know. So your investment can be low and you can get into this business very easily. What a lovely thing is that I think a lot of you people who have come online today have actually got your own cleaning businesses, small cleaning businesses, and that's a great way to start, then to bolt this onto it. So some of the things you'll already have, and we're going to say to you, if you've got a little carpet cleaner, don't go and buy another one. You've got one that's perfect. Or maybe some of you have got reach and wash window cleaning systems. Well, that means in the back of your van you've already got a tank with water, and all you need is a little pressure washer and a little generator, and now you've got a mobile valeting, mobile jet washing business that can clean up RTAs very, very easily. So we want to help you and work with you on that. Another thing also, which I think is important, is marketing and branding. That's an important thing to know. Sometimes if you're just a one-man band, you're just starting out, you need to know where you're going to market. And I had those exact same things. Can you imagine me just as a window cleaner in West Wales, trying to work out who do I market to? I first of all thought all of my work was going to come from the police. How wrong was I? We get a tiny element of work from the police, and it's lovely to work with them. but we get just as much work from private customers who we're marketing to. We advise you to go down your high street and to see who's there, your insurance companies, your solicitors, undertakers, build relationships with people in the same industry. So that's been really valuable. So I think that part of the course is only on the face-to-face course currently, where we can actually explain to you what we've done. Buzzwords, for example, if you're building a website, what are the key buzzwords, the keywords that you need to know? If you type in biohazard cleaning, is that going to be the keyword that people want? Or are we now looking at other words like deep cleaning or sanitizing or disinfection, which is the correct word to use? And what we can tell you is actually we've tried all of these and this is what works. This is what we'd advise you to do if you want to do what we've done. So that's another element to the training also. We've got lots and lots of testimonials as well. You've probably seen some of those on our website, and I think they'll be shared on Facebook quite regularly. Testimonials of people that have come on the course. I was speaking to a good friend the other day called Ryan, who came on our training course, and he can't believe that just from 3 days training, his business has just taken off with biohazard work, and he's now busier than ever. He's got lads working for him and girls working for him. He's done really, really well. There's loads of testimonials like that of people who've come on this course. It's actually quite interesting because sometimes people do so well that when we try and give them work in their area, they're too busy to even do it now because their own work has taken off. So that's been a real pleasure to see. There is a bit of hard graft in that where people have to kind of get their name out there, and that comes into marketing and branding as well. So there is an element of that, but it's really lovely to be able to see companies grow. And we've worked with the same companies. We've got a guy on this course at the moment in Bristol with us, Martin, who came on the course 12 years ago, I think it was. And so lovely to see him come back, do a refresher, build a relationship with him again, say hi to him. And we've been passing him work over the last years as well. So it's a real pleasure to keep those relationships going that have been formed over long times. It's also important, I think, to realise that if you have experience in marketing, you might think, oh, I don't need that element of it. But this is such a niche market that you have to market it really correctly to exactly the right people. So we'll try and help you with that, try and explain what we've done. As I said, I've made mistakes and I don't want you to have to make those. That's what this training is all about. I think it's really also important that you as a company become professional. So I suppose, what do you think of when you think of professional? It's someone who's had professional training, who knows what they're doing, who's eligible to be able to charge a good money for what they do because they know what they're doing. And that's important as well. So being professional is also part about what we think about and what we train. I also use an analogy very often of undertakers. I think they're amazingly professional. You know, the way they dress, their vehicles, their properties, everything is immaculate. The way they present themselves to people, their empathy of dealing with people, absolutely amazing. And yet the reality of it is they're dealing with dead bodies and they're dealing with the gore outside of it and putting bodies into coffins. That's their main work. The rest of it is about being professional. It's a really good example of how we need to be as well. So we'll also teach you a little bit about that. We also teach you about regularly checking your business and your staff kind of for their health and well-being, because I think it's really important to make sure your staff, they're the key people in your business, and to make sure that they are really healthy, really happy, and that they are looked after well. And we need to assure them that we're going to give them the best training, that we're going to give them the best possible PPE to protect them. We're going to give them the best products. And more than anything, we need to make sure inoculations are in place because we want to protect them from these potential infectious materials that they could be handling. So continual personal development is really important. We've got many members actually who've come on the face-to-face course, and then what they do is they just pick one of our e-learning courses to do a refresher every couple of years, and they sit down with a team and go through that. So that's another really lovely aspect that the e-learning can be used for, is for that continued development and training. We also talk a little bit about pricing. I think it's important. Now, there is differences in where you live. Somebody might demand a premium for living in a certain area, but actually for our work, we charge the same price right the way across the UK. So you can imagine every day we're completing work from Inverness all the way down to Portsmouth, or we're out in Dublin in Northern Ireland, in Ireland, and we're working in Southern Ireland, in Dublin, or Northern Ireland. We might be up in Omagh, and we're working right the way across to the east coast in Halifax, and our prices are all the same. How have we got those prices? Well, it's been tried and tested, years and years and years of building pricing methods and relationships with people. So it's really lovely to be able to share that with people. Say, actually, you're underselling yourself. Don't charge that price. You need to up your price. This is the price that you can demand. And we get members who constantly pick up work on their own, and they pick up a job and they send us a WhatsApp message and say, what will you charge for this? And I say, well, if I was you, I think that's about £800. And they'd say, oh, I'm so glad I messaged you because I was going to charge 400. And I said, try 800 and see what happens. And they say, I've got the job. So that's really reassuring because I can guarantee that we know our pricing structure really, really well. So competing, competitive prices, we've tried and tested it. It definitely works, the prices that we'll give you. We also offer tailored packages as well. So say if you're on this course and you think, you know what, you come onto this live program and you think, I'd really like some bespoke training for one of my customers or for some of my team, then we can do that as well. So me and Jamie regularly offer training packages, bespoke training packages, just to help certain organisations, whether that's a council, an environmental health team. Even we've been working up with some large companies who have specific needs for really bespoke biohazard cleaning, and we can help out with that as well. I think one of the lovely things as well about our training course is the network. People get together, they learn from each other, they help each other, they talk to each other, and that grows and builds a really lovely network. So there's a lot of trust involved. I appreciate that. People coming on our course, you're trusting us to train you, to look after you, to help you. But then we're also trusting you to carry our name, the Ultima Cleaning name, the Ultima Environmental flag, where you go. And we're proud to give you that name, but we're trusting you to do a good job, to carry out the methods that we've taught you. And also when we pass you work, to deal with our customers. And that's been a real pleasure as well. So that network is really, really tight. It's really lovely to have that. And also I think it's really been great to have lots of referrals. So those referrals, most of our work is surprising how somebody maybe as a contract manager working for an FM company, they may have been there for years and years and years. Suddenly they leave and get headhunted and taken to another FM company. And what do we realise? In a few weeks, they've taken us with them and they've asked us to go and work for them. So that referral, we would love to show you also how that's worked. And by building a really good name, a really good reputation, and being professional, that will really help you dramatically to get referrals from one business to another. So really, I hope kind of this has helped you to understand that it's a real niche market. There's things to think about that we can really help you with. The Academy is set up for helping people. It's not designed to just be a one-stop shop, come and do some training. It's a real big family of people in this network who benefit from being looked after, managed, and also having that training and that refresher training. I'd really love, if you want to, please get in touch with us. Please, if you would like to do the e-learning course, you'd be more than welcome just to sign up for that. And or if you want to come on the face-to-face course, our next training course is in March, and it would be so lovely to have you come, meet us, sit down with us, learn from us, and see if we can help you to be able to start your own biohazard cleaning business right here in the UK. So I think we're now going to kind of see if there's any questions come in, and I'll get Jamie to fire those over to me. I hope they're not too difficult.
Okay, first of all, we've got a lot of current members in with us today. So
hi everyone, that's really lovely.
Is it Donna, Dennis, Kirsty, Charlotte, Owen, And one from Charlotte, who was on one of our previous courses quite recently, just says, I was on your course in September, and big smiley faces.
Fab.
Lovely. So a couple of messages which you've kind of touched on, but basically it's a couple of the questions are asking how we can have the confidence to upsell from a commercial business that we are, because we are now providing biohazard cleaning. So how can we confidently do that?
How to upsell what from cleaning to biohazard?
Yeah, I think it's to have the confidence now that they've got the training, they've got the knowledge. It's then just going to the client now, to make that jump.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think that's a really good question, because very often with domestic cleaning, you're selling to just householders, just to homeowners. When now we're dealing with larger companies, so that confidence has to come from knowing, I think, first of all, that we've done that. We have actually done that as an academy. I've done it personally. I used to clean Mrs. Jones's windows, and it went to now I'm working for police forces and major companies that are multi-million-pound turnover. So it's definitely having that confidence that it's been done by other people, by someone like me, to have that confidence. But there's also, I think, a hand-holding process that when you come on the course or a training course, it's a bit like marketing is a bit like throwing mud at a wall, and you have to keep throwing it and find out where it sticks. And once it sticks, then you have to feed off that. So we encourage people to have that confidence to kind of spread as wide as they can, to go to various people in your high street, like I said, solicitors, police forces, go to estate agents, undertakers, those kind of people. Have that confidence to know that you are a professional and you're speaking to professional people and you've got a service that they can offer. I do think also it's kind of interesting to be able to realise, though, that the chance of us picking up work there and then that day is sometimes minimal. So they need to know who we are, what we're doing going forward. So even a newsletter or a regular email to them to explain what you're doing and how your services work is also invaluable.
Excellent. So Victoria's just messaged in, what legal and licensing insurances do you need before starting a biohazard cleaning company?
Yeah, great question. So you'll need, first of all, first question is how you're going to get rid of your waste. So if you can find a company that's going to come pick it up from the property that you're working on, which is very unlikely, but if you can do that, then you don't need any waste carriers licenses. If you are going to move your waste from that property and take it either back to your depot or you're going to take it to a waste transfer station, you have to be a licensed waste carrier, and you have to be a hazardous upper tier licensed waste carriers. That's the first thing you need. And to go along with that, compliance with paperwork for either consignment notes for hazardous waste or for waste transfer notes for non-hazardous waste. And again, don't get worried about that. We can help teach you that. Secondly, your insurances. You're going to need, if you're working for yourself, you'll need to have a public liability insurance. Normally, about £10 million is the requirement for your public liability. If you've got any staff working for you, you'll also need employer's liability. So you'll need that as well. And there's a professional indemnity insurance as well that can also apply sometimes to what we do. So those things mainly. And then we need to just also double check that we're compliant with our inoculations. So although it's not law, it's really good practice to have a hepatitis B inoculation and to have your tetanus up to date, your inoculation for tetanus. So that's really kind of all the compliancy that you need. And then health and safety, if you've got more than 6 people working for you, I think it's 6, either 5 or 6, then you need to be compliant with the health and safety policy. And then you need to look after your staff with regards to health and safety as well.
Lovely. Okay. Pricing seems to be quite a common question. We've covered parts of that. Kirsty's hi Kirsty, asked if we're available for pricing, if she can help price some jobs for her.
Yeah, of course, Kirsty, please. Yeah. Just send them through to us, either myself or Mark or Jamie or the girls in the office. We've got a couple of new people working for us now. Actually, Marie is just going to start working for us. She's on the training course this time. So yeah, no problem at all. Pricing is fluctuates between clients and how regular the work is and how big your client is. For example, at the moment, we're just pricing up quite a few police contracts for cleaning cells and vehicles. Well, that's like our bread and butter, and you can only charge a certain amount for that because it happens so regularly. But for one-off jobs, going forward, we've got a pricing structure matrix that kind of covers the whole of the UK, and we'd be happy to help you with that, Kirsty. Just WhatsApp us the jobs through some pictures of what you're going to price up, and we can help you with that.
On the same subject, Donna's came back to us and said, "You were so helpful at the beginning when we were setting up. I think we were always on the phone to you all the time about pricing jobs. Thank you."
Thanks, Donna. It's nice to have somebody give feedback to back up what we're saying. And I said, we've always been transparent. We'll always help you and always give you that pricing. So it's a pleasure to work with all of our members on a day-to-day basis. It's not long before the teams that we've been given these pricing structures to and helping them and hand-holding them, that they suddenly start picking it up very quickly and they're happy and confident to price that work themselves. But we're always here to help.
Okay, a couple of questions. I think this one's from Will. He says that he's struggling getting work at times because it seems to be the larger companies that are getting all the work. Do you have any advice?
Yeah, so that can be an issue. Normally, the larger companies have various elements of this work bolted onto them, and very often they don't want to do it. So when you think of a larger company, you're probably thinking of a facilities management company. And what's interesting is, although they take that work on, give an example, a large FM company I was speaking to today took on a £14 million cleaning contract, and about £500,000 worth of it is decontamination work. Now they really want the £13.5 million worth of cleaning, but they don't want to do the £500,000 worth of biohazard work. So we're actually working direct with them. So I would, if you can, approach as many of those larger companies who are picking up that work and say, look, here I am, this is what I can do. I can work directly for you. You can subcontract that out to me. All of these work decontamination jobs that maybe you don't want to do, I'm happy to do. That's the first thing. So definitely, I would say try and work with them. They're like, it's a bit like David and Goliath. They're this huge company, and you're this little David. But you're quicker than them. You're faster than them. You can respond better. So that to work with them is a real positive. So don't be shy about speaking to them directly. Find out who the contract manager is or the area manager for that business or that company, and see whether you can work directly for them to do that work. Secondly, I would just say, don't be shy of going to your high street. A lot of people don't do it. Go down your high street, speak to your estate agents that are dealing with void properties. Speak to your solicitors who are dealing with that. Speak to your undertakers. Be professional about how you approach them, but speak to them. I would also recommend as well, if you can, to go and see your local housing associations and local councils. Become an approved supplier to them and just let them know you're there. Even your local coroner's office, go and see them, let them know what you do so they can advise you. And it's the kind of thing where people move very often in these positions around. So keep telling them who you are. Keep making sure that you've got contacts with those people.
Okay, excellent. Rebecca, who was on the course about a year ago, has joined in, and again, smiley face, so that's lovely. Okay, next question. I'm just looking, a lot of them are covering the same sort of things. Okay, so I'm looking for refresher training. How much would it cost and how do I go about it?
Okay, perfect. So two things. One, if you want to come on the face-to-face refresher course, give us a shout. Call out the office or email the academy. Speak to Nicola or to Mark or to Jamie, and they'll be able to offer you a discount to come back and do the face-to-face course again, so you can meet us. But if that's going to be kind of too much for refresher training, the e-learning course, the e-learning platform, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to have a look at it. But it's really cool. So we've got 360-degree videos where you can actually put your headset in can't remember what they call it, the 3D viewer, and have a look around and see what we're doing when we're cleaning situations. Or you can actually just move your phone around and have a look at that as well. Or you can drag the screen around on your computer. And that covers lots of different sections. So if you just want refresher training on hypodermic needle collection, or on suicide and murder cleanups, or on waste management, or on health and safety, it's all specific. So you don't have to buy all of it. You can just buy one small package, and that stays on your device for 12 months. So you can always go back to it, refer to it. You can use it for like a toolbox talk just before you're going to start that job. Go through it, refresh your memory on those things as well. It's on waste management, another one, on health and safety, another one. So they're really powerful. They are, I think, really, really good for just bringing things back. And considering they sit on your device for 12 months, they're really handy for those toolbox talks. But either way, please come back for some refresher training with us, or do the e-learning.
Excellent. Sam from Inverness, who actually completed a 3-day job for us yesterday, says hello.
Cool. Hi,
good
Sam.
to see you again. Okay, so one's came in here. It's a good one. Do we need all the staff to get the course done, or is it enough for one of the guys in the team to come and do it, and then do an in-house training session before the job?
Yeah, good question. Really good question. And actually, the only legislation that we kind of fall under is the Health and Safety at Work Act. I think it was from 1974. I know I should get out more. I know all these weird facts, but that basically, that legislation states that whoever you are going to put as an employer into a situation, you need to prove that they're adequately trained. And really, that only will apply when things go wrong. So if something goes wrong and they get hurt, or something in the job goes wrong, and someone then says to you, can you prove that they were adequately trained to do that work? You have to justify that. So again, there's nothing to say that you should or shouldn't put them on a training course with us. If you wanted to use the e-learning for them, you could download that and they could have that on their device. So that's one option. But yeah, if you feel confident, if you've been on the training course, or you feel personally confident in going forward and training your staff, no problem at all. You just have to make sure that you and they are completely confident and compliant, in the sense that they are adequately trained for what they're going to do. So yeah, we've had that from many people who've gone back with the training we've given them, and they've managed to then interpret that themselves and give that over to their own staff. So that's worked really well for them.
Okay. Hi. Do you have any suggestions about local business or organisations that I could possibly join up to do work with? I'm in Manchester.
Okay. So it's quite difficult with this business. So the training course enables people really to be able to set up their own business. But once they've done that training course, we've had some people that have come on the course and said, I don't actually want to start my own business. I just want to go and work for somebody. And it's quite powerful, because then we can say, well, actually, here's a list of our members of our network who are currently running businesses. Do you want to go and approach them directly and see whether they've got work for you? So whereas our own little cleaning company is based in West Wales, nationally we just subcontract out to all of these different members that have done our training. So that's one option, is approaching people who've done the training, who've got their own business based on the training we've done. There's not many other companies out there who are regularly doing biohazard work. But again, if you approach a facilities management company, you might want to ask them whether they've got an environmental division. And if they have, then that might be the best thing for you to apply to them to be able to do that. But the more we grow, the more work we pick up internally as well, the more we are starting to recruit a few little people here and there to work along directly with us. So there may become an opportunity in the future to work directly for us as an academy as well. So that may be an option for you, and you just have to kind of communicate with us and let us know that. But that's just what I'd advise you at the moment. Contact our teams that are out there, companies that have currently been through our training, see if they need somebody, or contact an environmental company that's doing this work as well.
Okay, this one's from John. What are your tips for effective marketing and branding your venture?
I kind of covered that a little bit, but again, when I started in this kind of business, I tried to do everything myself, and I had to, because I was a one-man band, and I didn't have the money or the resource to be able to outsource it. So it's a difficult thing. I kind of one of my tips is that if you are going to do any marketing personally, keep it going, because you tend to, as a one-man band, you end up doing marketing for one day a month, and then the next month you don't do any because you're so busy, and the next month you don't do any, and then 3 months down the line you go quiet and you wish you'd done more. So trying to keep something going, so devote either a morning or an afternoon or a full day every month to some form of marketing if you're doing it yourself. I think that would be my advice. Secondly, is if you can afford it, pay someone who's really, really good at it. And you will find that very often it's hard to set up and you think, what am I doing this for? Because I'm telling my marketeer who to market to, what to say, where to aim it at. And you think, well, I could have done all that. But the fact is that once they've got that information from you, then they want to do that job properly and they will just keep sustaining it, keep it going for you. So if you are going to use somebody, make sure you give them all the information that they need. And finally, keywords I think are really important. Make sure that you know exact keywords that are going to apply to your area. Speak to lots of people and see if they were searching for your type of cleaning, what they would be looking for on Google or on Facebook, and see what they would be searching for. It's quite surprising that what we think people look for is not necessarily the right answer. Tongue-tied.
Okay, from Margaret. What equipment and supplies can you recommend for effective biohazard cleanup? So that's obviously quite varied. So maybe if we talk about like sanitizing.
Yeah. Again, over the years we have worked with lots and lots of different companies, and we've seen lots of products being used, from major companies down to small ones. So we are constantly looking for the best product. Right now, we've got an amazing relationship with a company called Biotrol, and we actively use lots of their products. So there's a product called 4-in-1, which is a really, really good product for cleaning, for deodorizing, for stain removal, and for sanitizing. The great thing is it's been tested in British laboratories as well. They don't make any false claims. It's all substantiated with test data, so that's really, really good. Equipment-wise, it varies depending on the job you're doing. I would also just advise you not to buy cheap equipment. Very often you'll see on eBay there's a fogger from China. Not got anything against foggers from China, but you'll see them for kind of £30-40. And if you expect them to be a commercial grade ULV fogging machine, it definitely isn't. So to invest in really good kit. And we can help you with that as well. That's part of our training course as well.
Coming towards the end here, so last couple of questions. Okay, so do you have a favourite job or a standout job that has gave you the most satisfaction in your career?
Wow, yeah, a standout job.
Most satisfying?
Good question.
So many.
Yeah, there's so many. I think probably bizarrely the most satisfying job I ever did was for free, which sounds wrong. But it may be the most rewarding as well. So I used to do a lot of lecturing in colleges about self-employment and about building businesses, being entrepreneurial, based on what I had done. Not through any, that wasn't my job. I was just doing it free of charge to colleges and universities to try and inspire people. And one of the lecturers was a lovely lady. We built up a relationship where we were good friends, and we spoke regularly about work and about what she was doing, and I was trying to help her with her students. And she phoned me one day and said that her ex-husband had passed away, and he'd committed suicide by hanging himself in a loft. So the trauma to her was, although they'd separated, they were still friends. And he'd passed away in his loft on his own in his own house, and she now was the only person who could help or was responsible for him and his property. So she asked me whether I would help her. So free of charge, because she was a friend, we went there, and so his body matter had dripped from the loft down through the first floor into the ground floor. The fallout from it was quite bad. The smell, the odours were really bad. And but we turned the property around, cleaned it all, deodorised it all, sanitised, and she was so grateful, I think, for what we did. And it was nice to do that for a friend. I don't think that happens, or the opportunity to do that happens very often. So that was really nice to be able to do that. That was quite a memorable one.
Excellent. Okay, last couple of questions now. Okay, I think you've touched on this earlier, but they might not have been in. We were talking about waste carriers license, the difference between a normal waste carriers license and an upper tier waste carrier's license?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a normal waste carrier's license is for carrying non-hazardous waste. So that's for things like domestic household waste, anything that's not classed as hazardous. Whereas an upper tier license that license allows you to carry hazardous material. So in our environment, that would be potentially infectious material. The waste codes change for waste, so you get a non-hazardous waste code, and that applies to things like inert things like brick and block and wood and bedding and whatever. It's all inert waste, and domestic waste. Whereas you come to hazardous waste, your waste code changes to waste codes like 180103, which is potentially infectious, or 180101, which covers needles and hypodermic needles. So there is a big difference. And if you are an upper tier carrier, you can carry both hazardous and non-hazardous. If you're just a lower tier, as normal waste carrier, you can only carry non-hazardous waste.
Excellent. Well, that's all the questions. Everyone's been thoroughly enjoying your chat, I think. So I think if there's no more questions, I think we're kind of until the next time.
Yeah, so look, thank you for listening. It's kind of a weird thing for me. I can't actually see any of you on here at the moment, so I hope it's been interesting for you. I really hope if you want to be a part of our organisation and our network, please get in touch with us for the training. We'd love to see you on the 3-day face-to-face course. But if you can only get on the time and the energy to get to our e-learning courses, please do that as well. Please get in touch with us, and it'd be a real pleasure to meet you and put a face to a name. So thank you very, very much.
Thanks, everyone. Next time.